This time on Ask Rad Rat, we're talking about how old skateboarding is and controversial Skater of the Year picks. Let's get into it. Welcome to Rad Rat Video, where you learn something new about skateboarding every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have a lot of different series I talk about, like trick histories, game reviews, even trick tips on the Shred School. But today we're answering your questions on my most prolific series, Ask Rad Rat, now in its 56th episode. Got a few questions for you today, and start thinking of ones to put below that I can answer in the next batch. Okay. The first one is from Bird Dangler, who has asked questions before. Thank you for this one. He asks, are there any Thrasher Skater of the Year picks that you disagree with? And this is kind of a tough one because when you look back on it, it's a little bit harder to tell in context, you know? So I wasn't around in the mid-90s skating. I started around 2001. So, you know, whether this guy deserved it more that year or not, I'm not really sure. I'd like to hear all your comments on this below. But when I started looking into it, I found a few interesting things. It started in 1990, and there are two people who actually won it twice. So Danny Way won it in 1991 and also 2004, 13 years later, which is pretty huge that his career has been at the peak for 13 years. That's pretty awesome. And then Chris Cole won it in 05 and 09. But going through the list, there was only one that I really remember thinking was weird, and that was Silas Baxter Neal in 2008. I remember when I first saw that, it was online at the time, and I remember there being announcements and stuff, and I was like, who is that? I had no idea. I hadn't seen any of his video parts yet. I know he had coverage in magazines at the time and stuff, but you don't really pick Skater of the Year off of a couple pictures, right? So I remember I looked him up and I thought his stuff was good, but was it that good that he was Skater of the Year? I thought that one was kind of a weird choice. I don't know who I would have picked. I don't really remember exactly what came out in 2008 anymore, but I remember that being kind of a weird one. And if you look him up now, there's only a couple real like major video parts that he had. So I don't know, maybe they missed that one. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it at the time. I just wasn't familiar with him, and he really didn't go that far either. So I don't know. That was the one that stood out to me. That's the one at the time that I was really kind of confused about. But I want to hear your answers below as well. The next question is from Craig Ellis, who wants to know, how old is skateboarding? This is a big topic, and this is something I want to make a full-length video about, really blow it up, get quotes and documentation and all kinds of stuff. But I'm not sure how long that'll take. So I want to cover it pretty briefly right now. There's a lot of interesting facts. The earliest mention of skateboarding I could find is actually from 1944, which is a lot earlier than I thought. There was an American Women's Army Corps member, Betty Magnuson, who reported kids riding around on boards with roller skate wheels on them in late 1944. This was in Paris, specifically in the Montmartre section. So that's pretty crazy. Whether they were the very first kids in the world to skateboard or not, I don't know. I was surprised that it was in Paris, because you always think about it being in California, but that was pretty interesting to find. But the next thing I found was in 1945, there was something called the Skeeter skate, and that was a scooter where you could remove the handle. So you didn't have to like cut it off and modify it, like it was removable. And so there were probably a lot of kids skating around in 1945 who removed the handles or broke it or something like that and just used it like a skateboard. But the first commercial skateboards were around 1962 and 63. So again, I don't have all the information about those tracked down yet and exactly who and the names and the brands and pictures and all that kind of stuff at the moment. But it seems like around 62 or 63, that's when sidewalk surfing became a thing, where you could go to a surf shop, buy a skateboard. So that's, you know, about as old as I thought that it was. I was surprised to find that it actually went back into the 40s. So if you know anything else that goes back before that or any more information, let me know, and it might make it into the main video that I do. So that's all the questions for this time. Make sure to ask all of yours below, either in the comments here or on Instagram or Twitter. There are links to those in the description. But until next time, here are some more videos I did recently you might want to check out. Also, hit subscribe above so you don't miss out on learning something new about skateboarding 3 times a week. And thank you for watching.